Tom Baker wiped the sweat from his forehead as he guided the last cargo container off his ship. The trading station buzzed with activity around him. Aliens of every shape and size moved through the crowded marketplace. Some had scales. Some had fur. Others looked like walking crystals. Tom had seen it all during his years hauling cargo across the galaxy. He secured the container and checked his data pad. Another delivery completed. Another small payment added to his account. It was not much, but it kept him flying. That was all that mattered. As Tom prepared to head back to his ship, he heard something strange. It was not a sound exactly. It felt more like a pulling sensation in his chest. A sad feeling that was not his own. He stopped walking and looked around. The marketplace continued its usual chaos. Nobody else seemed to notice anything unusual. The feeling grew stronger. Tom turned toward the lower commercial district. The cheaper stalls were down there. The ones that sold things people did not want to ask too many questions about. He had learned to avoid that area. Smart haulers minded their own business. But the pulling sensation would not stop. It felt like someone crying. Like a child in pain. Tom frowned and started walking toward the lower district. His boots clanked on the metal walkway as he descended the stairs. The lower marketplace was darker than the main level. The lights flickered. The air smelled of chemicals and something rotten. Merchants shouted in a dozen different languages. Tom pushed past a group of Thorian traders arguing over prices. The sad feeling grew stronger with each step. Then he heard it. An actual sound this time. A small whimper coming from a stall in the corner. Tom walked closer. The stall belonged to a Craig dealer. The Craig were known for selling things that existed in legal gray areas. Tom had never done business with them. Behind the counter, surrounded by stolen tech and questionable artifacts, sat a small cage. Inside the cage was a child. She looked almost human, but her skin had a slight blue tint. Her eyes were larger than human eyes. Silver tears ran down her cheeks. Chains bound her wrists and ankles. Tom felt his stomach turn. "What is this?" he asked the Craig dealer. The dealer looked up with his 4 yellow eyes. "Merchandise. You want to buy?" "That is a child," Tom said. His voice came out harder than he intended. "Xylith juvenile," the dealer corrected. "Legal property. Her colony sold her. Debt payment. All paperwork is proper." Tom stared at the girl. She looked back at him with those large eyes. He felt the sadness pouring from her. It was telepathy, he realized. She was calling for help. Crying out to anyone who would listen. "How long has she been here?" Tom asked. The dealer shrugged. 3 weeks. Maybe 4. Nobody wants her. Xylith are trouble. Too emotional. Always crying about feelings. Tom looked around the marketplace. Hundreds of beings walked past the stall. Aliens of every species. Even other humans. They all glanced at the cage and kept walking. Some looked uncomfortable. Most did not react at all. It was just another day in the lower marketplace. "Let me get this straight," Tom said slowly. "She has been here for weeks. Crying. And nobody has done anything? Why would they?" The dealer laughed. It was an ugly sound. Smart people mind their business. Galaxy is full of sad stories. You cannot save everyone. Best to keep walking. A Vexian merchant at the next stall called out to Tom. "Human. Listen to good advice. That one is trouble. Xylith bond with rescuers. You buy her, you own her problems. Walk away." Tom looked at the girl again. She had stopped crying. She was watching him with a strange expression. Hope maybe. Or just curiosity that someone had actually stopped to look at her. "How much?" Tom asked. The dealer's eyes brightened. "You want to buy? Excellent. For you, special price. Only 8,000 credits." Tom felt his jaw tighten. 8,000 credits was everything he had earned this month. It was his fuel money. His food budget. His ship repair fund. Spending it all would put him in debt for weeks. "That is too much," Tom said. "Then walk away," the dealer replied with a grin. "Plenty of others have." Tom pulled out his data pad. He checked his account balance. 8,200 credits. He would have 200 left. Barely enough for basic supplies. The Vexian merchant called out again. "Human, you are making mistake. She is not your problem. Every species learns this lesson. You cannot help everyone. The galaxy does not work that way." Tom looked at the merchant. Then at the dealer. Then at all the other beings walking past. None of them seemed bothered by the chained child in the cage. This was normal to them. Just business. He looked back at the girl. She was still watching him. Still hoping. "I will take her," Tom said. The dealer smiled wide. "Excellent choice. I will prepare transfer papers. As the dealer worked on the paperwork, another human walked past. An older woman with gray hair. She saw Tom at the stall and shook her head. Don't do it, kid. I've been out here 20 years. You will learn. The galaxy is hard. You cannot save everyone who needs help. You will go broke trying. Maybe, Tom said. But I can help this one. The woman sighed and kept walking. The dealer handed Tom a data pad. Sign here. And here. This makes you legal guardian under galactic law. Her debts are now your debts. Her problems are your problems. You understand? Tom signed without reading the details. He transferred 8,000 credits. His account balance dropped to 200. He would need to find work fast. The dealer opened the cage. The girl did not move at first. She seemed afraid. Like this might be a trick. Come on, Tom said gently. You are safe now. She stepped out slowly. The chains rattled. Tom looked at the dealer. The chains? Those cost extra. Tom felt anger rise in his chest. But he controlled it. He knelt down next to the girl. Hold still. I will get these off. He pulled out his multi-tool and worked on the locks. They were cheap mechanisms. Easy to break. The chains fell away one by one. The girl rubbed her wrists. Fresh bruises marked her skin where the metal had dug in. Can you walk? Tom asked. She nodded but did not speak. Come with me. My ship is this way. As Tom led her through the marketplace, he felt dozens of eyes watching him. Some curious. Some judgmental. Most just indifferent. The Vexian merchant called out one last time. You will regret this, human. Mark my words. Tom did not look back. He just kept walking. The girl followed close behind him. She was still silent. Still afraid. But the terrible sadness he had felt before was quieter now. Softer. They reached his ship. Tom helped her up the boarding ramp. As the door closed behind them, shutting out the noise of the marketplace, the girl finally spoke. Her voice was small and rough from crying. Why? She asked in broken standard. Why you help? Everyone else walked past. Tom looked at her. He did not have a complicated answer. He just had the truth. Because you needed help, he said simply. That is enough reason. Tom's ship was small but clean. He had converted the cargo bay into living quarters years ago. A bed. A small kitchen. A bathroom. Everything a solo hauler needed. The girl stood in the middle of the room looking around with wide eyes. She had not seen a clean space in a long time. Sit, Tom said, pointing to a chair. Are you hungry? She nodded slowly. Tom heated up some ration packs. They were not fancy but they were food. He placed the warm container in front of her. She stared at it like she had forgotten what real food looked like. Eat, Tom encouraged. It is safe. She picked up the spoon with shaking hands. The first bite made her eyes water. Not from pain. From relief. She ate slowly at first, then faster. Tom watched quietly. When had she last eaten a full meal? After she finished, Tom brought her water. She drank it all. He refilled the cup 3 times before she finally stopped. Thank you, she whispered. Her voice was getting stronger. What is your name? Tom asked. Lyria. I am Tom. Tom Baker. You are safe here, Lyria. Nobody will hurt you now. Fresh tears ran down her cheeks. But these were different from before. These were tears of relief. Over the next hour, Lyria told Tom her story. Her words came out broken and mixed with tears. But Tom listened patiently. He pieced together what had happened. Lyria came from a small Xylith colony on the edge of civilized space. Her people were farmers. They grew special crystals that other species used for medicine. Life was simple but good. Then the Carveth Syndicate arrived. The Carveth were a criminal organization. They controlled dozens of systems through fear and violence. They demanded protection fees from every colony in their territory. Pay up or face consequences. Lyria's colony was poor. They could not afford the fees. The Carveth gave them 1 month to find the money. When the deadline came, the colony still had nothing to give. The Carveth took Lyria as payment. She was only 12 years old in human years. They took 3 other children too. The colony leaders begged. They cried. They promised to pay later. The Carveth did not care. My mother screamed, Lyria said quietly. She tried to hold on to me. They hit her. Made her let go. My father could do nothing. The Carveth had guns. We had farming tools. Tom felt anger burning in his chest. And the station authorities did nothing? The dealer said it was legal, Lyria explained. Debt collection. The Carveth had papers. Documents. Everything looked proper to galactic law. Tom stood up and paced. This could not be right. Stealing children could not be legal. He activated his ship's computer. I need to check something. Stay here. He spent an hour reading galactic law databases. The more he read, the angrier he became. Lyria was right. Under certain treaty provisions, debt collection included asset seizure. Some cultures considered children as family assets. As long as the paperwork was filed correctly, it was technically legal in many systems. Tom slammed his fist on the console. This is insane. You did not know? Lyria asked from behind him. Tom turned. No. Humans do not work this way. We do not sell children to pay debts. This is wrong. Many species think it is normal, Lyria said sadly. The Carveth use this law in dozens of systems. Nobody stops them. Tom sat back down. How long were you in that cage? 26 days. I counted. And how many people walked past you? Lyria closed her eyes. Thousands, maybe more. I called out to all of them. My people are empathic. We can send feelings. I sent my fear, my sadness, my need for help. I know they felt it, but they all kept walking. All of them? Tom asked. You were the first to stop, the first to ask questions, the first to care. Lyria looked at him with those large eyes. What? What makes humans different? Tom did not know how to answer that. He just shrugged. I heard you crying. I could not walk away. Others heard too. They chose to ignore it. Tom thought about the Vexian merchant's words. The old human woman's warning. Everyone had told him the same thing. Mind your own business. You cannot save everyone. The galaxy is hard. Maybe they are just used to it, Tom said. Maybe they have seen so much pain that they learned to turn it off. Have you seen pain? Lyria asked. Yes, plenty. But you did not turn it off. No, Tom admitted. I guess I did not. The ship's computer beeped. An incoming message. Tom opened it. The message was from the station administrator's office. He read it and his jaw tightened. What is wrong? Lyria asked. The station administrator wants to see me. Now. Tom left Lyria on the ship with strict instructions to lock the door. He walked back through the marketplace to the administrative section. The offices were cleaner here. More official looking. A secretary droid led him to the administrator's chamber. Administrator Klexon was a Thorian. Tall and thin with gray skin. He sat behind a large desk covered in data pads. He did not look happy. Mr. Baker, Klexon said. I understand you purchased a Xylith juvenile from the lower marketplace today. I freed a child from a cage, Tom corrected. You purchased legal merchandise, Klexon replied coldly. And now I have a complaint. The Carveth Syndicate is unhappy. They claim you interfered with their business. Tom laughed without humor. Their business is kidnapping children. Their business is debt collection within legal parameters, Klexon said. I reviewed the case. The Xylith colony owed money. They failed to pay. Asset seizure was authorized under Treaty Section 743. That is a fancy way of saying slavery. That is a galactic law that predates human entry into civilized space by 2,000 years, Klexon snapped. You cannot simply ignore laws because you find them distasteful. I did not ignore the law, Tom said. I bought her freedom legally. The dealer accepted my payment. Transfer of ownership was completed. She is mine now under galactic law. Klexon's expression darkened. Yes, which means her debts are now your debts. Her obligations are your obligations. Are you prepared for that responsibility? What debts? Tom asked carefully. Klexon pulled up a document on his screen. The Xylith colony owed the Carveth Syndicate 40,000 credits. Lyria represented partial payment. By purchasing her, you assumed responsibility for her portion of the debt. 15,000 credits. Tom felt his blood run cold. The dealer said nothing about this. Did you read the transfer documents before signing? Tom stayed silent. He had not read them. He had just signed to get Lyria out of that cage. Klexon smiled. It was not a kind smile. The Carveth Syndicate expects payment within 30 days. If you cannot pay, they will seize assets. Starting with your ship. This is a setup, Tom said. This is business, Klexon replied. Welcome to the galaxy, Mr. Baker. Perhaps next time you will listen when others tell you to mind your own affairs. Tom turned to leave. At the door he stopped. How many people walked past that cage? Excuse me? How many beings saw that child in chains and did nothing? Klexon shrugged. Hundreds. Perhaps thousands. What does it matter? It matters, Tom said quietly, Because I am the only one who stopped. In a station full of civilized species, advanced cultures, enlightened beings, I was the only one who could not walk past a crying child. Then you are a fool, Kleckson said. Maybe, Tom agreed. But at least I can sleep at night. Tom returned to his ship with a heavy mind. 15,000 credits. He had 30 days to find money he did not have. But when he entered and saw Lyria curled up in the chair, looking small and frightened, he pushed the worry aside. First things first. The girl needed help. Are you okay? Lyria asked. She could feel his stress. Her empathic abilities picked up emotions like humans picked up sounds. I am fine, Tom lied. Just some station business. Nothing important. Lyria tilted her head. You're worried. I can feel it. Tom sighed. There was no point hiding feelings from an empath. Yes, I'm worried. But not about you. You're safe. That is what matters right now. He showed Lyria where she could sleep. The ship only had one bed, so Tom set up a hammock for himself in the corner. Lyria protested, but Tom insisted. She needed rest more than he did. That first night was difficult. Lyria woke up screaming 3 times. Each time Tom rushed to her side. He turned on lights, brought water, spoke in calm tones until she remembered where she was. Safe. Not in the cage anymore. I am sorry, Lyria said after the 3rd nightmare. I cannot control it. Do not apologize, Tom said gently. You have been through terrible things. Healing takes time. How much time? She asked. Her voice sounded so young. So tired. As much as you need, Tom replied. Over the next few days, Tom kept his ship docked at the station. He needed to find cargo work, but he did not want to leave Lyria alone. She was too fragile. Too scared. So he brought work to the ship instead. Small repair jobs. Data transfers. Anything he could do from his own bay. Lyria watched him work. At first she just sat quietly in the corner. But slowly she started asking questions. What was he fixing? How did that machine work? Why did humans build ships this way? Tom answered every question. He showed her tools. Explained systems. Let her help with simple tasks. She was a fast learner. Her hands were steady despite the trauma. You are good at this, Tom said as she successfully rewired a control panel. Lyria smiled. It was the first real smile Tom had seen from her. My father taught me about machines. He said good farmers need to understand their equipment. Your father sounds like a smart man. The smile faded. I miss him. I miss my mother. My brother. Everyone. Tom set down his tools. Tell me about them. And she did. For the next hour, Lyria talked about her family. Her mother who sang while working in the crystal fields. Her father who told funny stories at dinner. Her younger brother who always got into trouble. Her grandmother who made the best sweet cakes in the colony. As she talked, Tom noticed something. The sadness in her voice became softer. Remembering the good times seemed to help more than forgetting the bad ones. They sound wonderful, Tom said when she finished. They are. Lyria looked at him with those large eyes. Do you have family? Tom shook his head. Not anymore. My parents died when I was young. No siblings. I have been alone for a long time. That is sad. It is what it is, Tom said with a shrug. I learned to take care of myself. Is that why you helped me? Lyria asked. Because you know what being alone feels like? Tom had not thought about it that way. Maybe she was right. Maybe his own loneliness made him more aware of others who were suffering. Maybe, he admitted. Or maybe I just could not walk past someone who needed help. Most beings can, Lyria said quietly. I learned that in the cage. I called out to everyone. Every species. Every culture. I sent my fear. My pain. My desperate need for rescue. They all felt it. I know they did. How do you know? Tom asked. Because I could feel their response. Most of them felt uncomfortable for a moment. Then they pushed the feeling away. They built walls in their minds. Blocked me out. Kept walking. Tom felt a chill. They knew you were suffering and chose to ignore it? Yes. Some species are better at blocking than others. The Vexians are experts. They train themselves from childhood to ignore emotional appeals. They see it as weakness. What about humans? Tom asked. Did other humans walk past? Lyria nodded slowly. 7 humans passed my cage before you. I called to all of them. 3 felt nothing. They could not hear me at all. Humans are not naturally empathic like my people. And the other 4? They felt something. I could tell. They slowed down. Looked at me. But then they walked away. They felt guilty. Uncomfortable. but they still left. Tom thought about the old woman who had warned him at the marketplace. She had seen Lyria, known what was happening. But she had called it a lesson Tom needed to learn. Why did you respond when others did not? Lyria asked. You felt the same discomfort, the same guilt, but you stopped. You asked questions. You spent all your money. Why? Tom did not have a good answer. He just knew that walking away had felt wrong. Impossible. Like asking him to ignore his own heartbeat. I do not know, he said honestly. Maybe I am broken somehow. Maybe I missed the lesson everyone else learned about minding my own business. You are not broken, Lyria said firmly. You are kind. That is rare. Very rare. She stood up and walked to the viewport. The station bustled outside. Thousands of beings going about their daily business. My people are empathic, Lyria continued. We feel what others feel. We thought this made us special. Connected. We believed other species must care for each other the way we do. But we were wrong. What do you mean? Tom asked. We learned the hard way. The galaxy is not kind. Most species learn to turn off their compassion. They see suffering and choose to look away. They call it being realistic. Being smart. Protecting themselves. Tom joined her at the viewport. That is a sad way to live. It is how the galaxy works, Lyria said. The Carveth Syndicate exists because nobody stops them. The slave markets operate because nobody shuts them down. Children sit in cages because thousands of civilized beings walk past and do nothing. She turned to look at Tom. Tears ran down her cheeks again. You did something. You stopped. You cared. You acted. That makes you different. Strange. Maybe even foolish by galactic standards. Probably foolish, Tom agreed. But it also makes you good, Lyria finished. Really truly good. I have met hundreds of beings in my short life. You are the first one who proved that goodness still exists. Tom felt uncomfortable with the praise. He had just done what felt right. Nothing more. I am not special, Lyria. I am just a cargo hauler who made a choice. A choice nobody else made, she pointed out. That is what makes it special. They stood in silence for a while, watching the station activity. Tom thought about his money problems. The debt. The Carveth Syndicate. He had 30 days to find 15,000 credits or lose everything. But looking at Lyria, seeing her smile returning slowly, watching her heal little by little, Tom knew he had made the right choice. Even if it cost him everything. Some things mattered more than money. More than safety. More than smart decisions. Sometimes the right choice was simply being unable to walk past someone who needed help. Tom's ship alarm screamed at 3 in the morning. He jolted awake from his hammock and rushed to the cockpit. The scanner showed 3 vessels approaching fast. Military grade. Heavily armed. They were not friendly. Tom? Lyria appeared behind him, rubbing sleep from her eyes. What is happening? We have company. The bad kind. Tom's fingers flew across the controls. Strap in. Now. Lyria scrambled into the co-pilot seat and buckled the safety harness. Tom fired up the engines. The ship shuddered as it lifted off the landing pad. Station control immediately sent an angry message demanding he follow departure protocols. Tom ignored it. The 3 ships changed course to intercept. Tom recognized their design. Carveth Syndicate hunters. They were here for Lyria. Hold on, Tom warned. He pushed the throttle to maximum. The ship shot forward, weaving between docked vessels and station structures. Alarms blared. Other ships scattered to avoid collision. Tom did not slow down. One hunter fired. A plasma bolt streaked past the viewport, close enough that Tom felt the heat. He banked hard left, then dropped suddenly. The hunters followed, but they were less maneuverable in tight spaces. Tom used that advantage. He cleared the station and pointed toward open space. The hunters matched his course. They were faster than his cargo hauler. Tom needed a plan. Lyria, can you sense them? The pilots in those ships. She closed her eyes and concentrated. Yes. 3 ships. 4 people in each ship. They are angry. Determined. They want me back. Can you tell what they are planning? One ship will try to disable our engines. The other 2 will box us in. They want to capture us, not kill us. Tom nodded. That made sense. Dead cargo had no value. He changed course toward the nearby asteroid field. It was dangerous territory. Most pilots avoided it. But Tom had run cargo through these rocks for years. He knew every drift pattern and gravitational quirk. The hunters followed him into the field. Asteroids surrounded them. Some were small as pebbles. Others were large as mountains. Tom flew between them with practiced ease. The hunters struggled to keep up while avoiding collisions. They are splitting up, Lyria said suddenly. Her eyes were still closed. 2 ships going left, 1 going right. They are trying to surround us. Tom saw it on his scanner a second later. Lyria's warning gave him time to react. He dove under a massive asteroid using it as cover. The hunters lost visual contact for precious seconds. Tom's communicator crackled to life. A deep voice spoke in standard. Human, stop running. Give us the xylith and we let you live. Keep running and we destroy your ship. Tom did not respond. He was too busy plotting his next move. The asteroid field had one dangerous feature that most pilots feared. A cluster of spinning rocks caught in a strange gravitational eddy. They rotated unpredictably. Flying through them was suicide. Unless you were desperate. Or crazy. Or both. Tom aimed for the cluster. Tom? Lyria opened her eyes. What are you doing? Those rocks are moving too fast. We will crash. Trust me, Tom said. He did not sound as confident as he wanted to. The spinning cluster loomed ahead. Rocks tumbled and collided in chaotic patterns. Tom cut his engines to minimum. He let momentum carry the ship forward while he made tiny adjustments to the steering. Left, right, down. Threading the needle through gaps that opened and closed in seconds. The hunters tried to follow. The first ship made it through the outer edge. The second ship was not as lucky. It clipped a rotating asteroid and spun out of control. The pilot managed to stabilize, but he fell far behind. The third ship stopped at the edge of the cluster. Too smart to risk it. Tom cleared the cluster and immediately changed course. He headed deeper into the asteroid field, toward an old mining station he knew about. It had been abandoned for years, but the structures were still intact. Good place to hide and make repairs. They are regrouping, Lyria reported. All 3 ships are together again. But they lost our position. They are searching. Tom allowed himself a small breath of relief. He landed the ship inside the hollow shell of an old mining facility. The structure would block most scans. They had time to think. He checked the damage display. The close calls had strained the shields. They needed a few hours to recharge. Tom leaned back in his seat and exhaled slowly. That was scary, Lyria said quietly. Yeah, it was. What do we do now? They will not stop hunting us. Tom had been thinking about that. He pulled up his communicator and scrolled through contacts. He needed help. Real help. And he knew just who to call. His first call went to Sarah Mills. She ran a small trading operation 3 systems over. Tom had helped her 5 years ago when pirates tried to steal her cargo. She owed him a favor. Tom? Sarah's voice crackled through the speaker. It is early. This better be important. I need help. The Carveth Syndicate is hunting me. Silence. Then Sarah laughed. What did you do to make them angry? I freed one of their slaves. More silence. You did what? Tom explained the situation quickly. When he finished, Sarah was quiet for a long moment. You know this is insane, right? She finally said. Going against the Carveth Syndicate? They will kill you. Probably. And you did it for a kid you did not even know? Yes. Sarah sighed. You are the dumbest, most stubborn man I have ever met. When do you need me? Relief flooded through Tom. Can you be at coordinate 748 in 6 hours? I will be there in 5. And Tom? I am bringing weapons. Lots of weapons. The second call went to Peter Grant. Former military pilot turned cargo hauler. Tom had pulled him out of a bad situation 2 years ago. Peter answered on the first ring. Tom, I heard you made the Carveth angry. Are you trying to get killed? Not trying. But it might happen anyway. I need backup. Peter laughed. When and where? The third call went to an older man named Carl West. He was a mechanic who specialized in ship modifications. Tom had sent him business for years. Carl grumbled about being woken up, but he agreed to help. He promised to bring shield boosters and extra armor plating. Tom made 2 more calls. Both agreed to help. One brought medical supplies. The other brought jamming equipment to confuse scanners. Why are they helping? Lyria asked when Tom finished. They are risking their lives for us. Because I helped them when they needed it. Humans remember things like that. Not all humans, Lyria pointed out. 7 humans walked past my cage. True. But the ones who care really care. They do not just walk away when their friends are in trouble. 6 hours later, 5 ships arrived at the meeting coordinates. Tom's human friends brought everything he asked for and more. They worked quickly to upgrade his ship. Stronger shields. Better weapons. Faster engines. It was still just a cargo hauler, but now it had teeth. "The hunters are moving again," Lyria warned. "They found our trail. They are coming this way." Tom looked at his friends. "You do not have to stay. This fight is not yours." Sarah checked her weapons. "Shut up, Tom. We are staying." Peter laughed. "Besides, someone needs to make sure you do not do anything else stupid." The hunters appeared on the scanners. 3 ships against 6. But the hunters had military-grade vessels. This would not be easy. The battle was short but intense. Tom's friends fought with surprising skill. Sarah's ship had military-grade cannons that tore through one hunter's shields. Peter flew like he was still in the Navy, pulling moves that confused the Carveth pilots. Carl's modifications held strong against plasma fire. The hunters had not expected resistance. They thought they were chasing one scared cargo hauler. Instead they found 6 ships working together like a pack. Like humans did when they protected their own. One hunter retreated with damaged engines. Another lost its weapon systems and fled. The third tried to fight, but Sarah and Peter trapped it between them. The hunter pilot finally broke off and ran. "They are leaving," Lyria said with wonder in her voice. "You won." "We won," Tom corrected. He opened a channel to his friends. "Thank you. All of you." "Keep that kid safe," Sarah replied. "And Tom? Next time you decide to fight a criminal syndicate, give us more warning." The other ships departed one by one. Each pilot wished Tom luck before jumping to their next destinations. Soon it was just Tom and Lyria again, alone in the black. "Where do we go now?" Lyria asked. Tom had been thinking about that. "There is a human colony 4 systems from here. New Terra. They have a good reputation. They help refugees. We can ask them for assistance finding your family." Hope lit up Lyria's face. "You think they will help?" "Only one way to find out." The journey to New Terra took 3 days. Tom used the time to teach Lyria more about ship operations. She learned fast. By the 3rd day she could handle basic navigation and system checks. It gave her something to focus on besides worry. New Terra appeared on the view screen. It was a beautiful planet. Blue oceans. Green continents. White clouds. It reminded Tom of old Earth from the history books. Colony control cleared them for landing. Tom brought the ship down at the main spaceport. The city around them was clean and organized. Humans bustled about their business. Some other species lived here too, but humans were the majority. Tom and Lyria walked to the Colonial Administration building. A friendly woman at the front desk directed them to the Refugee Assistance Office. The office was run by a man named Frank Harrison. He was older, maybe 60, with gray hair and kind eyes. "How can I help you?" Frank asked as they sat down. Tom explained the situation. Finding Lyria in the cage. Buying her freedom. The debt. The chase. Everything. Frank listened without interrupting. When Tom finished, Frank turned to Lyria. "You have been through a lot, young lady," he said gently. "Do you know where your family is now?" Lyria shook her head. "The Carveth scattered our colony. I do not know if they are even alive." Frank typed into his computer. "Give me your colony's name and location. We have connections with refugee networks across this sector. If your family registered anywhere, we will find them." It took 2 days. 2 long days where Lyria barely ate or slept. She was afraid to hope. Afraid that her family was gone forever. Tom stayed with her the whole time, offering quiet support. On the 3rd day, Frank called them back to his office. His face was serious but his eyes were warm. "We found them," he said simply. Lyria burst into tears. "Where? Are they safe?" "They are at a refugee settlement on Kepler 7. That is 2 systems from here. The whole colony relocated there after the Carveth destroyed their homes. Your mother, father, and brother are all registered. They are alive." Lyria could not speak. She just cried. Happy tears this time. Tom put a hand on her shoulder. Frank smiled. "We can arrange transport for you," Frank said. "There is a refugee ship leaving tomorrow. You can be with your family in 4 days." "Thank you," Lyria managed through her tears. "Thank you so much." That night Lyria could not sleep. She was too excited. Too nervous. Tom found her sitting in the ship's cockpit, staring at the stars. "Cannot sleep?" he asked. "I keep thinking this is a dream," she said. "That I will wake up back in the cage. It is real. You are going home." Lyria was quiet for a moment. Then she turned to Tom. "Will you come with me? To meet my family?" Tom had not planned on it. He had cargo routes to run. Debts to pay. Life to get back to. But looking at Lyria's hopeful face, he could not say no. "Of course I will come." The journey to Kepler-7 was the happiest Tom had ever seen Lyria. She talked constantly about what she would say to her family, what they would do together, how she would introduce Tom as the human who saved her. The refugee settlement was a collection of temporary structures on a dusty plain. Thousands of displaced people from dozens of worlds lived here. It was not fancy, but it was safe. The Carveth had no reach here. Frank had sent word ahead. Lyria's family was waiting at the landing pad when the ship touched down. Tom saw them through the viewport. A woman with blue-tinted skin like Lyria's. A tall man with the same large eyes. A young boy bouncing with excitement. The door opened. Lyria ran down the ramp. Her mother caught her in a hug that lifted her off the ground. Her father wrapped his arms around both of them. Her brother jumped up and down, waiting his turn. They were all crying. All talking at once. All holding each other like they would never let go. Tom stayed by the ship watching. This was their moment. He did not want to intrude. But Lyria pulled away from her family and ran back to him. She grabbed his hand and dragged him forward. "This is Tom," she said to her family. "He saved me. He spent all his money. He fought the hunters. He brought me home." Lyria's mother approached Tom. She placed her hands on his shoulders and looked into his eyes. As a Xylith, she could sense emotions. Tom felt a strange warmth spread through his chest. She was thanking him. Not with words. With feeling. "You heard her," Lyria's mother said in accented standard. "When thousands ignored her cries, you heard. You stopped. You acted. Why?" Tom gave the same answer he had given Lyria. She needed help. Lyria's father stepped forward. "Such a simple reason. Yet so rare in this galaxy. We are forever in your debt, Tom Baker." "No debt," Tom said firmly. "Helping someone should not create obligation." The family invited Tom to stay for dinner. He accepted. They ate simple food in a simple shelter, but it was one of the best meals Tom ever had. Lyria sat between her parents, glowing with happiness. Her brother told stories. Her father made jokes. Her mother kept touching Lyria's face like she needed proof this was real. After dinner, Lyria's father pulled Tom aside. "You should know something. The Xylith Council has heard Lyria's story. Word spread fast among our people. We are empathic, so emotions travel quickly through our networks." "What does that mean?" Tom asked. "It means every Xylith knows about the human who stopped when no one else would. The human who sacrificed everything to free one child. The human who risked his life against the Carveth Syndicate." Tom felt uncomfortable. "I did not do it for recognition." "We know. That makes it more meaningful." The father smiled. "The council wants to meet with human leaders. To establish formal relations. They are calling your species, the ones who answer. The only species in the galaxy that consistently responds to calls for help." Tom shook his head. "That is not true. Most humans walked past Lyria's cage too. But you did not. And when you needed help, other humans came. They risked their lives for you. For Lyria. For what was right." The father placed a hand on Tom's shoulder. "Maybe not all humans answer. But enough do. That is more than any other species can claim." Tom left Kepler-7 the next morning. Lyria hugged him goodbye with tears in her eyes. "I will never forget you," she said. "Stay safe," Tom replied. "Stay happy." He returned to his cargo routes. Life went back to normal. He hauled freight. Made deliveries. Paid down his debts slowly. The Carveth Syndicate never bothered him again. Apparently, fighting back had earned him a reputation. Tom did not follow galactic news closely, so he missed the headlines. He did not know that the Xylith Council had indeed made first contact with human governments. He did not know that trade agreements were being signed. Alliance treaties negotiated. Cultural exchanges planned. He did not know that when asked why they chose humanity as their first formal allies, the Xylith Council told Lyria's story. A story that spread across human space. A story that made people think about who they were and who they wanted to be. Tom just flew his routes. Hauled his cargo. And sometimes when he passed trading stations he looked for cages. Just in case someone else needed help. Because that was what humans did. At least the ones worth knowing. They heard the cries that others ignored. They stopped when it would be easier to keep walking. They helped because someone needed help. That was reason enough.